Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to launch an Amazon EC2 instance under their free tier service and install WordPress on it. The only thing you're going to need is an Amazon.com or an Amazon Web Services account and a command line client. So if you go to the AWS Web Console, this is the first page you'll see, and we're going to go to EC2 and click Launch Instance. This is going to let us create a new instance. We'll go ahead and use the classic wizard, continue, and we're going to set up an Amazon 64-bit Linux AMI. Go ahead and use a T1 micro instance, which as you can see qualifies for the free tier service, and click continue. We can just continue through these advanced settings, and I'll create a new key pair just to show you how that's done. I'm going to name it demo. Create and download. Make sure you download it, because if not, you'll have to go through the wizard again. For security groups, we can use the quick start group. Continue and launch. And back on the EC2 dashboard, you'll see it's beginning to spin up. So we'll go ahead and wait a second till that gets spun up. Alright, now that our instance is spun up, we're going to go ahead and associate an elastic IP to it, which is just going to make it a little easier to SSH into. So click on elastic IPs, allocate a new address, and associate the address, and we'll go ahead and associate it with our instance. Go back to the instance dashboard just to make sure it associated correctly. It did, so we'll make note of the elastic IP and fire up the terminal. Alright, to SSH into our instance, we're going to use the command SSH EC2-user at our host, which is the elastic IP we just made. And we need to insert our PEM key, which is done by -I and then the location of the PEM key. First thing we're going to do is we'll update the server. So type sudo yum update. Alright, now that that's done, we'll go ahead and switch to super user by typing sudo su. That's just going to make it so we don't have to type sudo in front of all our commands. And first thing we're going to do is install the Apache web server. That's done by typing yum install httpd. Yes. Alright, just check and make sure that installed correctly. We'll bring up our browser, and oh, I forgot to start it. Go ahead and type service httpd start. Now if we go to our elastic IP address in the browser, we should see the Amazon Linux AMI test page. Alright, now we need to install PHP and MySQL. So for PHP, it's yum install PHP php-mysql. Yes. And then for MySQL, it's yum install mysql-server. Yes. Now we need to start the MySQL service before we can do anything. So service mysqld start. Now we need to create a database for WordPress to install everything into. So go ahead and mysql admin -uroot create. I'm going to name my database blog. Now to set up and secure the database, the best way to do that is through the MySQL secure installation process. There should be no current password for the root, so just hit enter, set root password yes, and go ahead and type in a password. Remove anonymous users, yes. Disallow root login remotely, yes. Remove test database and access to it, yes. And reload privileges table now, yes. Alright, now we can go ahead and install WordPress. First thing we're going to do is switch to our public HTML folder. So cd var www html and download the repository. And then we need to go ahead and unpack the repository. tar xzvf and the file, which is latest.tar.gz. Alright, so what that did is unpacked WordPress into a WordPress directory in our public HTML folder. I'm going to go ahead and move that from WordPress to a blog. That's done by typing mv WordPress, which is the source, and blog, which is the destination. So now we have WordPress in a directory called blog. Next we need to configure WordPress to connect to our MySQL database. So we'll switch directories to blog. And the first thing we need to do is make a config file. WordPress comes with a sample config that we can use. We just need to rename it. So we'll type mv and the config file name, which is wp config-sample.php, and what we want to rename it to, which is simply wp-config.php. Now we can use the visual editor to edit this file, which is done by vi wp config.php. The only thing we need to change on here is the MySQL database settings. So where it says database name, we need to change that to our database. Press I for insert, and that's going to let us start editing this page. And my database name was called blog. The user will be root. Password will be whatever you made your password during the MySQL secure installation process. And that's it. Press escape and then :WQ. Just going to write and quit. And that's it. Now if we restart Apache, we should be able to go to our Elastic IP and see the WordPress installation page. So service httpd restart. Alright, back in the browser, our Elastic IP / whatever folder you installed WordPress in. I installed mine in blog. Go, and that's it.